Welcome back. My name is Kerry, and today I've got another manufactured home price update. It's been almost 2 weeks since my last update, and I've got both good and bad news. I always like to get the bad news out of the way first, so here it is. We've been hit with yet another price increase, number 7 so far in 2021. If you've been following along with any of my price update videos or have talked to anyone at all recently, this shouldn't come as much of a surprise. The housing market is a very hot topic right now. A couple times a day I find myself in conversations with people and the stories are all the same. Over asking price this, new construction that, yada, yada, yada. The housing market is absolutely out of control, so why would new manufactured homes be any different? If you're in the market to buy, you're likely sick and tired of the constant increases, and I don't blame you. The good news, relatively speaking, is that this price update only has one price increase, where my last video had 2 increases for the same amount of time. Could this be a sign that things are finally slowing down? I don't really think so. What I'm gonna do is tell you how much the price of a new manufactured home increased, what's causing it. Then, if you decide these prices are getting too ridiculous and wanted to buy something existing, I'll tell you how you can make your offer stand out from the crowd. So let's get into it. The latest manufactured home price increase from the factory I deal with is 2.5% across all base prices, effective immediately. Not as big as some of the price increases we've seen, but the 3rd increase in May alone, which is quite shocking. To give you an idea of just how different 2021 is, I've never seen 3 price increases in an entire year. And here we are with 5 days left in the month and the possibility of another increase, and we've already seen 3. That's wild. The reason given for this increase, like many before it, is the steady and unrelenting increase in materials. It would be great if these increased notices came with a little bit more detail, because people are starting to wonder how much of these increases are actually because the increased price of materials and how much is just because they can. I'm not just talking about manufactured homes. I was talking to a guy recently who was getting a quote to fence a condo development, and earlier this year got a price of $50,000. Now, a couple months later, he decided he wanted to move forward with the project, and when he called the company back, they said the new price was $80,000. That's a 60% increase, all in the same year. When he questioned the price, the company responded that the price of materials had gone up. Well, that's a pretty big jump. Just yesterday, I was talking to a guy who runs a construction company. They build subdivisions, they put pipe in the ground, build roads, stuff like that. He was saying that the cost from his suppliers had mooned as well. When we were talking, both guys mentioned they were wondering how much of the price increases were actually due to materials rising and how much of it was just being used as a way to increase profit. This is something I've talked about in other videos, that I thought the increases likely had extra profit built in because there's such a huge demand. The increases seem to have little to no effect on sales. Prices go up, people continue to buy. Prices go up again, people continue to buy. To be clear, I don't have any problem with a business making a profit. That's the whole point of a business. There will be years when everyone who's doing well in housing right now will be slow, so they have to make money now while things are hot to ride out the bad times. But I am very curious at this point how much of it is actually material increases and how much of it is the company sitting around saying,
you know what? I think we could probably raise the price another 2.5% this week and nobody would care.
Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the price of materials is still rising this fast? When talking about the price of anything, my dad always says it's worth what someone will pay for it. A statement that goes both ways. So if I've got a manufactured home that right now is worth $150,000, but for whatever reason the housing market cools off and nobody's willing to pay that, guess what? It's no longer a $150,000 house. It's only worth what someone is willing to pay for it. So by this time next year, maybe that same house is only a $125,000 house. I have no idea. However, right now, the opposite is true. People are willing to pay $165,000 for what was a $150,000 house last month, which is why we're seeing the prices continue to rise month after month. If the factory didn't get any orders, or if homes listed with realtors had no offers, prices would come down immediately. But until that happens, it's onward and upward. If the price of a new manufactured home has increased beyond what you're willing to pay, or maybe it's now over your budget, you still have the option to buy something existing. One of the challenges of buying an existing home is there's so much demand that as soon as something hits the MLS, there's a ton of interest and a lot of homes are receiving multiple offers, so it's a little bit more complicated than just buying a home. Remember the days when it was customary for people to offer under asking price and the buyer could usually negotiate the price down from where it started? It was almost an unwritten song and dance. The seller would list at a price knowing that the buyer would offer less. They'd go back and forth a few times until they would finally agree on a price. It was a way simpler time for buyers. Now, in most areas, full price or over ask is the norm, and you have to make your offer stand out in a way that the seller is going to want to pick your offer. If you're new to the channel, I like to use it to share information and ideas I hear working for people to hopefully help other people who are in a similar situation. A friend of mine is moving back to the area, and how she was able to make their offer stand out in a very competitive market is definitely worth sharing. Right now, I think it's great to be a seller until the exact moment your home sells and you have to go out and buy something. So it's exciting for a few days, and then the excitement turns to panic because buying is not any fun right now. Knowing this, my friend submitted an offer on a home her family liked with the subject that would give the seller 3 months to go out and find their next home, and they accepted it. This takes all the stress off the seller because they know if they aren't able to find something in the next 3 months, they won't be homeless. It does add quite a bit of stress to my friend because now they have to sit and wait and hope that the seller is able to find something they like in that time frame. It's a bit risky and they're going to be in limbo for the next 3 months, but you know what? They got an accepted offer on the house they wanted. Even if the seller isn't able to get an accepted offer on their next home in 3 months, I think it's more likely that they extend the contract with my friend rather than collapse the deal, because for them, it's a stress-free transaction. I thought this was a brilliant way to make their offer stand out from the rest by taking some of the stress away from the seller. I'm not sure how much they offered relative to the list price, but I would think some sellers would be more likely to take this deal over the highest price because it makes the transition into their next home so much smoother. Right now, in a lot of markets, sellers have the luxury of picking from multiple offers, so I thought this was a great way to make an offer stand out from the crowd if you have the flexibility to do so. Manufactured home prices have increased again, marking the 3rd increase in the month of May alone. Until the demand slows down, I really don't see the increases going away because I honestly think the factories have more work than they can handle. They're essentially trying to slow the demand by constantly increasing the price, but so far it's had little to no effect. If the price of a new manufactured home has gotten to the point where it's more than you want to pay, buying an existing home can be a great option, but comes with a different set of challenges. One way to make your offer stand out from the crowd is by giving the seller some time to go get an accepted offer on their next house before your deal becomes final. That way they know their home is conditionally sold but won't finalize until they have something under contract to buy, thus taking away a lot of the stress that comes with being a seller right now. That's all I've got for today. If you like manufactured home videos, don't forget to subscribe to my channel because I've got new ones coming out every single week. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.